All of the exceptions that we saw in the past few slides fall into two categories: checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. In the case of checked exceptions, you need to deal with them appropriately. The compiler will force you to recognize them and deal with them in some proper way. Whereas the unchecked exceptions you can simply ignore as a programmer. You don't need to do anything with the unchecked exceptions. The unchecked exceptions consist of all the ones you see in the red blocks that have been overlaid on the different exceptions here. These are the ones that you don't need to do anything about if you don't want to. You don't have that luxury in the case of the checked exceptions, however. The unchecked exceptions usually are the result of things that you've done as a programmer that are logical errors, and as such, you can't recover from these things. Some examples of unchecked exceptions are null pointer exceptions. This occurs if you attempt to use a pointer that doesn't refer to any particular object. Another is the index out of bounds exception, which occurs when you use as a subscript to reference an element in an array a number that's either too small or too big. Arrays should start at 0 and go to 1 less the size of the array in terms of their indices. And if you instead try a negative number or a number that's equal to or larger than the size of the array, then that means your array is outside the bounds of the array, and that would be an index out of bounds exception. Any of these sorts of logical errors need to be corrected within the program itself. So it doesn't make sense to bother trying to deal with them in a graceful way and use try-catch blocks to deal with them. And that's why Java doesn't require you to write code to catch such exceptions.